morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always, told out of Voice of Radio. So today we need to look at 5 new full art supporters that have come around from, well, Terastal Festival over in Japan, almost certainly going to be in Prismatic Evolutions over in the West, and this is something worth getting very, very excited about. These are very cool, these are brilliant, these are lovely, I absolutely adore these, and it's just putting Terastal Festival or Prismatic Evolutions up to an even higher level of, oh my word, this looks awesome. Huge fan of this. And I want to start off, let's start off with Eri. These are all the Team Star, are they called the leads? Well, they're actually called squad bosses, there we go. They are the 5 Team Star squad bosses, but shown at the Academy. And the reason Eri is so weird here is because we're used to seeing Eri with a mask. And now we've got this random card with Eri being featured with no mask. I cannot be the only... And some of the other ones look a bit weird. Atticus, for instance. We'll get to that in a minute. But having Eri here as a student with no mask is just bizarre to me. But I kind of love it. This makes me pretty happy. Now, of course, we did get Eri back in Temporal Forces. And we got the full art back in Temporal Forces. And we got the special illustration rare back in Temporal Forces. So it's not like we've not seen this card before. These are reprinted cards. But look how different the artwork is. I adore it. As a side note, Eri is a phenomenal supporter card because you get to look at your opponent's hand and discard up to 2 item cards you find there. We've seen it in a bunch of, well, stall decks, basically. Like Snorlax has been a good one. Any kind of control deck whereby you're trying to take away your opponent's options. Snorlax works beautifully like that. So with Snorlax, you stop your opponent retreating. You are aiming to play cards like Eri to just get rid of all of their switching options. And then, well, they're out of options and they lose the game. And I've commentated a bunch of Snorlax games on regionals and all of that since Eri came out. And sometimes the player gets a double Eri hit, and it's always a big hype moment on the stream, and that makes me happy. Really good card. Frankly, bizarre full art, but I'm here for it. This is extremely cool. The other weirdest one, as far as I'm concerned, is Atticus, or Shumei, if you want to go for the Japanese name here. And this is what Atticus looks like without all of the weird poison garb. It's a bit weird, right? It's a little bit weird. But Atticus here, we got another, and I love the design. And you'll notice here that this very much looks like a set of 5 cards. They were revealed today. They are very much a set of 5 cards. And it's reprints of supporter cards, but so vastly different. I absolutely adore it. Now, in terms of playability, we have had Atticus, but we've only had the one, and it wasn't even a full art or anything along those lines. We got it in Paldean Fates. Japan actually got it as a gym promo, and I actually picked it up in a random card shop in Japan for like £1. It was brilliant. But the point I'm making here is, because it started life as a gym promo over in Japan, we get it in Paldean Fates, but there's no other version of Atticus. There's no full art, there's no special illustration rare. The card just exists on its own. And you can only use it if your opponent's active Pokemon is poisoned, but it's a shuffle draw 7. Which is really, really good. As far as I'm concerned, in any deck where I'm playing Brute Bonnet, and yes, Brute Bonnet does see a bunch of play, that's a card which is poisoning both active Pokemon. I'm trying to poison my opponent's active, Cloth. So that means that I should, in theory, be able to use this as a shuffle draw 7 quite a lot. And I like that. This makes me happy. Now, they're the 2 that look the weirdest here, but we still need to have a look at all of the others as well. How about Mela? And Mela is a card, actually, which I like very much indeed. So we've got Mela here as I'm assuming student, although this one, it's a bit less impressive than the others, purely because it just looks like Mela, with very slightly different hair. But we did have ourselves a regular version in Paradox Rift, and we got the full art in Paradox Rift, and then we got the gorgeous special illustration rare in Paradox Rift, just, chilling with a Torkoal. Because why would you not? And this is a card which I still don't think has seen enough love in the Pokemon TCG. You can only use it if one of your Pokemon was knocked out during your opponent's last turn, but you attach a fire energy from your discard pile to one of your Pokemon, and then draw until you've got 6 cards in your hand. Sure, it's a little bit awkward that you had to have had a Pokemon KO'd last turn and all of that, but we've got energy acceleration paired with draw power here, and I just think that's a pretty potent combination, honestly. It's something I have absolutely got my eye on. Like I say, it's a card I don't think has seen enough love in the Pokemon TCG so far, but it's one that I've got my eye on, especially if Fire decks make a bit of a run. Now, Ortega is another one we've got here in this one. It's just playing the Ortega. Like, it just looks like a very slightly younger Ortega. But we do have this one from Obsidian Flames, where we had both the regular and the full art. And no special illustration rare for Ortega. Little bit sad. Also, Obsidian Flames, remember, was a smaller set with fewer secret rares, so it will be easier to pull if you're looking for it. If that's the kind of thing you're after, it's a good set for that. In terms of what Ortega actually does, your opponent reveals their hand, you choose a card you find there and put it to the bottom of their deck. If you did, your opponent gets to draw a card. So you basically get to get rid of one card in their deck, but they then potentially get a chance to, they get to draw another one, and they could just redraw into it. Playability-wise, this is the one which is just really underwhelming. Like, Eri, phenomenal card. Sees a bunch of play. Atticus, pretty good card. Lot of potential. Mela, good card. Lot of potential. Ortega, nah, mate. It's just bad. Sorry. It's not a good card. Feel free to prove me wrong in the comment section, but I feel pretty good about this being bad. And that leaves us with Giacomo, the card which we all mispronounced on stream continuously, but I think we've got there now. And I kind of like this because it's Giacomo with a classic Giacomo hair, but no hat, which is weird. Now, Giacomo is another card whereby we did get, obviously the regular came along in Paldea Evolved, and we got the full art, and then we got the special illustration rare. And I love the special illustration rare. I've said this before in videos. This gives me real backstage at event vibes. And no, we don't have a giant mixing desk backstage. But we do have desks and lights and screens and laptops. And we're often sitting there trying to grab a bite to eat while checking through some notes of something and looking up information and, carrier bags with drinks coming out of them. This gives me real backstage at event vibes, and I absolutely adore it. Love the card for that. It's one of my favourite special illustration rare supporters just for the vibes it gives me. As for the card, you get to discard a special energy from each of your opponent's Pokemon. We have seen this popping up in some control decks here and there, just to, take away your opponent's energy, give them fewer options and all of that. But it's another one of those where it's not necessarily the best card, but you can envisage a future where it's absolutely broken. If we get a bunch of really super good special energy dependent decks, especially ones that have bursts of energy acceleration, rather than continuous every turn energy acceleration, you can see how this is going to work now, can't you, ladies and gentlemen? Yeah, you can. You're picturing it, aren't you? It's going to be awesome. So there we go. We've got all 5 of these, and I adore this. Certainly seeing Eri without the mask and Atticus without all the makeup is awesome. But just having this set of 5, giving us all 5 of the Team Star squad bosses, but showing them with their time at the Academy in these arts which all have a very similar kind of style is brilliant. They're not done by the same artist, incidentally. They've all got different artists. Your Giacomo is done by Gasan. Your Mela is done by Naoki Saito. Your Atticus is done by Ghidorah. Your Ortega is done by T0. And then Ryuta Fuse went and did your Eri. So they're all done by different artists, but they just look really cool and they're very in line with each other. And I just love that we're doing this. It's weird because Prismatic Evolutions, right? When we first saw it in Terastal Festival, we went, well, we're not getting a bunch of shinies or any of that like we've seen before. And a lot of people were saying it looked like a bit of an underwhelming set. And then the more and more time goes by, the more stuff gets revealed, the more we're looking like this could be an actual, like, all-time set. And I think this looks awesome. But I've told you about all of it now, so now it's over to you guys. Which one of these is your favourite? Do you think it's super weird seeing Eri without the mask? What do you think about all of these? Tell me in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi. That's where we talk about Pokemon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. And get shoutouts on the channel like the lovely Dingus, who's been a supporter of ours for a while now and is a very lovely person. So shout out to them for the support and the loveliness. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.